Hello, everyone. I just want to jump in really quick and talk to you for a moment. I told everyone the next video that I was going to do would be where I address Tony Morris, where he, manipulates the teenage Jehovah's Witness kids by suggesting that their driver's license should be withheld. If they don't dedicate through baptism or what have you. It's very manipulative, and that's what it's intended to be. It's intended to guilt and shame them into getting baptized because it gives the organization more control over the kids then, the teenagers then. That is the video I'm working on for you right now so that I can get that done for you. But every once in a while, I have to jump in and do what I'm going to refer to as a filler video. It's just a filler video. Something has come up. Someone in the comments section has inspired me. So I have to do what's known as a filler video. So this one wasn't scheduled or wasn't planned, but I want to address this individual. So that's what this video is about. Before I get into that, I want to share with you, when I was about 16 years old, I rode up to Birmingham, Alabama with my dad. My dad was invited from Pensacola to the Birmingham area to speak at a specific Jehovah's Witness congregation. We drove up there, and it was standing room only. People came from other congregations and all that. My dad was originally from up there, so it was easy for him to get invited to speak at those congregations. But it was standing room only. People came from different congregations or what have you to hear him speak. It was a big deal for, someone to be traveling like that from another state to speak at a congregation. I'm not sure what the big deal was about it. I mean, all of the messages are scripted and pre-written and all of that by the headquarters up there. So it's not like he had to do a lot of preparing for it other than just driving up there and then reading out the scripted message. But nonetheless, he did it. And the congregation was called the Adamsville congregation up around the Birmingham area. I want to show you a picture of what the Adamsville congregation looks like now. Take a moment and check this out. My cousin from up around the Birmingham area sent me this picture, and he told me that this is the Adamsville congregation now. What do you know? These churches of Babylon look like they're taking over for some reason. But anyway, when he sent me this picture, he said that there was at least 4 to 5 other kingdom halls that he saw with his own eyes around the central Alabama area that are either closed down or under new management. It's just interesting to see these places finally shutting down. I can't wait to see the very last one get the doors nailed shut or converted into a true Christian church. But anyway, I wanted to share that with you. I consider it good news. But nonetheless, let's go ahead and get this filler video started. I want to address a particular person, a very bright mind that showed up in the comment section after my sister's video. So I hope you enjoyed. I'm not going to come back after this video and talk to you about where we're going because you already know. I'm just going to let this video here play out and speak for itself. It appears that many of you really enjoyed hearing my sister Sheila as she shared a portion of her testimony. She has agreed to come back in the near future, and she's going to share a little more with us. So we all get to look forward to that. I think the rest of her story will be very interesting. I have other siblings that I wish would come and share their experiences as well, but it doesn't look or appear that that's going to happen anytime soon. There are many, unfortunately, that still judge Christianity in the same context as the Jehovah's Witness religion. They just cannot separate their negative experiences with the organization and understand that it is not a true representation of Christianity. In this sense, the religion has served its purpose of driving people away from God in order that they may never come to a saving knowledge of salvation through Jesus Christ. Considering all of the deception, brainwashing, mind control, manipulation, and control by fear that is implemented by the leaders in order to control their members, it is very easy to recognize the true leader of this religion. And yes, in other words, I am saying that the true leader of this religion is Satan himself. My Bible tells me that Satan is the father of the lie. He is easily identified as the originator of deception. And when you consider all of the deception that is used and implemented in this religion in order to control their members, there's only one conclusion that you can come to, and I don't apologize for coming to the one that I have come to. I also want to take a moment on this video to remind everyone concerning the purpose of this channel. I want to make it clear that I am one of many that are sounding the alarm in regards to this religion. In other words, there is nothing special that sets me apart from anyone else in the former Jehovah's Witness community in God's eyes. I personally believe that collectively we are all serving the same purpose, or at least I hope that we are. I'm here on this channel for the purpose of exposing the falsehoods of the Jehovah's Witness organization. I fully intend to do my part to warn others concerning the dangers of getting involved with this religion. My intent is to also enlighten current Jehovah's Witnesses concerning their religion in hopes that they will get out while they still can. Eventually, I will begin sharing my entire testimony concerning the circumstances God used in order to reveal to me the real truth concerning the religion of my birth. That is coming, but we aren't quite there yet. I have a little more foundation I want to establish concerning the religion first before I dive too deep into my testimony. So if I could have your patience, we're slowly going to get there. I cannot wait to share the circumstances throughout the years of my life that God slowly planted seeds in my mind that eventually led to me beginning to be able to think for myself. The scales fell off my eyes one day, and God, He put the circumstances in place for all that to take place. I can't wait to share that with you. We're going to be getting into that into the not too distant future. Now, I apparently have a confession to make. Someone in the comment section has outed me as a fraud. It appears that in reality, I am a deceiver and I am disqualified from referring to myself as a former Jehovah's Witness. Therefore, it is by a technicality that I was never actually a Jehovah's Witness. You see, I never became a baptized Jehovah's Witness. I was raised from birth in the religion. I was indoctrinated into the belief that it is Jehovah's one and only true religion. I was taught from birth that if I left the religion, I would be denied access to paradise on earth, and I would most certainly be destroyed at Armageddon. As a teenager, I was handed a small card and I was instructed to keep it in my wallet at all times. Do not lose it, is what I was told. This card clearly identified me as a Jehovah's Witness and instructed that in the event of an accident, I will not, under any circumstances, accept a blood transfusion. At the beginning of each school year, right up into high school, my teachers were always informed that I am a Jehovah's Witness, and I am forbidden from saluting the flag and from participating in holiday-related festivities. Why? Because I was a Jehovah's Witness. Don't go anywhere just yet, folks. Ever since elementary school, I had dreamed of one day playing football at Tate High School. My dad made it very clear well before I got there that it would never happen and told me, do not bother asking. I was 15 years old as a high school freshman in 1987. After observing as I quarterbacked my team during PE, the freshman football coach called me to the side and he asked me, he says, "Why are you not on my football team?" Your boy here hasn't always been fat and bald. At one time, I was very athletic. At that time in my life, I was very fast and I could certainly chunk a football. I explained to the coach that our religion didn't allow extracurricular activity. I also explained that my dad would not allow me to play for that very reason. The coach asked me if I wanted to play on his team, and I answered yes, that I had dreamed as a kid of one day playing football as a Tate Aggie. The coach asked for my phone number, implying that he wanted to call my dad. I thought it was worth a try, but being scared of my dad, I asked the coach, when you speak to my dad, please don't disclose this conversation. My dad was strict and I was very scared of him. I've said that before. No sooner than I arrived home via the school bus, the phone rang and my dad answered it. I stood in the kitchen and listened as my dad explained to the coach in the exact words, "Keith is not interested in football. He is a Jehovah's Witness, therefore Keith is not participating in any type of sports." My dad then explained that Keith is only concerned with telling others about God's soon coming paradise on earth. My heart sank, and I knew that would likely be my last chance at ever getting to play football. My coach's name was Gary Loggins, and due to the religious organization's discouragement in regards to education, I dropped out of high school at the middle of my 10th grade year. It is very hard to concentrate and study for tests when, due to your upbringing, you actually believe that you are angering Jehovah with you every time you attempt to make a good grade. It is more beneficial to the organization's leaders to keep the rank and file as dumbed down as they possibly can. It's easier to control them, obviously. You former Jehovah's Witnesses, I'm sure, know exactly what I am talking about. In 1989, I obtained my diploma through Pensacola Junior College. The following year, I was invited to attend a high school football game at a totally different school located in the northern end of our county. While attending this game, I recognized that Coach Loggins was now the head football coach at this particular school. I made it a point to stand as close to the fence as I possibly could in hopes of getting to speak to him at least one time. Obviously, being the head coach, he was very busy with the game, but he and I eventually were able to make eye contact. He then waved at me, and he gave me a smile. That was all I needed, because I knew at that moment that he remembered me from 3 years earlier. Coach Loggins, who won a college football national championship in 1968 as he played for Troy State University, eventually became a high school physical education teacher. He served at my school as the head coach of the freshman football team and as an assistant on the varsity football team. Soon after this, he moved on and became the varsity head football coach at a totally different local high school. In planning this video, I came to the realization that although I had lost all contact with him after 1989, the reason that Coach Loggins has always held a special place in my life is because he recognized something in me that I desired and strived so hard to get my own dad to see. My dad was so indoctrinated and trapped within his religion that he failed to recognize who his own children truly were. Once again, through this example as well, I was identified as a Jehovah's Witness. Now, I am establishing a point concerning the claim that I cannot rightfully identify as a former Jehovah's Witness due to my never being baptized. After I make this point, I have a bonus for you, so stick around. When going from door to door, I was always introduced as a Jehovah's Witness. At the age of 18, I worked overnight stocking groceries in a local grocery store. During a Thursday night book study held at a local brother's house, he used me as an example in regards to grocery stores preferring to hire Jehovah's Witnesses because they are known for their honesty and they don't steal. So I'm recognized and identified as a Jehovah's Witness while carrying a blood transfusion card. I was recognized and introduced as a Jehovah's Witness when I was knocking on doors selling books and magazines conveniently. I was introduced as a Jehovah's Witness when I was inviting people to the Kingdom Hall. I was never told I could not sing along to this song. We're Jehovah's Witnesses. We speak out in fearlessness. Ours is the God of true prophecy. What he foretells comes to be. Ours is the God of true prophecy. What he foretells comes to be. Maybe that's why we're still looking forward to 1975. Folks, the only time I have ever been informed that I was never a Jehovah's Witness was when I began speaking out against them. As long as I was playing the part and peddling literature, as long as I was recruiting people in order that they could become as brainwashed as I was fully accepted and recognized as a Jehovah's Witness. To the individual here on YouTube who conveniently only identifies by your initials, the individual who strategically outed me as a fraud due to the fact that I was never baptized, I have a challenge for you. From examining your channel, I have reason to believe that you are actually a Jehovah's Witness elder. I asked you why you never commented on a particular video. Of course, you never responded. This video I released about a month ago. Here is a short clip from that video, and this, brother initials, is your challenge. If you succeed at this challenge, in addition to the things I say that I will do in this video clip, I will also become a baptized Jehovah's Witness, and I will let you, Brother Initials, be the one that dunks me. As a reminder to everyone else who is watching, here is the video clip. So let's just take a moment. I've found some articles and some, a few watchtowers. I want to read some things to you. The first one comes from the Watchtower, February 1st of 1993. Pay close attention. I want to read this to you. It says, with the coming of the Messiah, Jesus Christ, God used him and his immediate apostles and disciples to serve as his spokesman. Later, the anointed, faithful followers of Jesus Christ were to serve as a faithful and discreet slave in communicating to Jehovah's people how to apply Bible principles in their lives. Godly subjection meant recognizing the instrument Jehovah God was using. Pay close attention to this right here. The facts show that today, the faithful and discreet slave is associated with Jehovah's Witnesses and represented by the governing body of these witnesses. This is from the Watchtower, February 1st, 1993. So in order to be subjected to God, godly subjection, you have to be willing to submit and surrender under this faithful and discreet slave known as the governing body of the Jehovah's Witnesses. The facts show, look at the article here, the facts show that today the faithful and discreet slave is associated with Jehovah's Witnesses and represented by the governing body of these witnesses. Now, I'm going to jump out on a limb here, okay? You Jehovah's Witnesses, I know that y'all watch this video. Y'all watch these videos, I know for a fact. There are millions of you, and then there's one of me. Millions of you, and then there's one of me. If you can show me the facts that prove beyond the shadow of a doubt, scripturally, that that statement right there is true. Let's read it again. The facts show that today the faithful and discreet slave is associated with Jehovah's Witnesses and represented by the governing body of these witnesses. If you can show me the facts, biblically, prove to me beyond the shadow of a doubt, scripturally, that that statement right there is true, I'll sell my home. I'll give all the proceeds to the governing body. I'll make a comeback as a Jehovah's Witness. I'll become a full-time pioneer. I'll work 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, knocking on doors, unless I'm at the Kingdom Hall, of course. I'll host book studies weekly at whatever box that my wife and I, or a cardboard box my wife and I are living in. I'll join the ministry school, and I'll give talks on Sundays, and I'll be your most outspoken advocate in regards to your religion. If you can prove to me that that statement right there is scripturally true. There's millions of you. This should be an easy win for you. The governing body, they're the only ones God is communicating through. So this should be an easy win for you, because surely God's going to give them the answer. So I challenge you, present those facts to me. I certainly appreciate it. I'll be waiting for your response. Now, for the record, since offering this challenge, incredibly, there has been a grand total of not even one person that has accepted it or even acknowledged it. I've been told in the past when dealing with Jehovah's Witnesses that I have a very brash, sandpaper-like approach. Not everybody's a fan of it. Not everyone agrees with how I conduct these interactions. Therefore, I would like to take just a moment to explain the details behind my approach. If Brother Initials here accepts my challenge, when and if he attempts to research the topic of conversation, it is designed to draw him out of his comfort zone. The claim concerning the faithful and discreet slave being associated with the governing body becomes reality only when you are studying Jehovah's Witness publications. Scripturally, it cannot be supported. There is nothing in the Bible that supports this claim. I purposely try to draw them outside of their comfort zones in order to lure them into a place where they are forced to do their own thinking. We all know that through the organization's publications, they are pre-programmed concerning what they are allowed to believe. In pointing out and claiming that I cannot rightfully identify myself as a former Jehovah's Witness due to the fact that I was never baptized, The mystery brother from parts unknown, only recognized by his initials, inadvertently exposed even more of his false religion's hypocrisy. Now, I told you if you stick around, I had a bonus for you. Let's go back to that Thursday night book study where that brother used me as an example, as an honest Jehovah's Witness. Grocery stores want to hire people like Keith because they're known for their honesty and they do not steal. Not long after that book study, I was in that grocery store and I saw this gentleman come into the store on a Tuesday night. He had just left the meeting on a Tuesday night. I was working that night. I watched this guy throw some items down his pants and conceal them. And it shocked me. I saw him do it. I have no reason to lie to you folks. I went straight to the phone and I called my dad. I said, Dad, so-and-so was in here, and you're just not going to believe what I just saw. Now, I didn't say nothing to him or confront him because I couldn't believe it, because I had known this guy all of my life. And I just couldn't believe it because he was an honest Jehovah's Witness, you know. So my dad went to the elders about it, and they talked to him about it. Never called me in. Never called me in to ask me my side of it. He said he didn't do it. He just lied and said he didn't do it. Okay, so they let him go. Well, they never brought me in and listened to my side of it again. They just swept it under the rug because, you know, they've got to keep Jehovah's name clean. They gotta protect his name. We can't have these things going around about us, for God's sakes. Many years later, I had left the grocery store and I became a bread man. I was a bread delivery guy for 17 straight years. And I was in that same store. It had the old store, the old location had closed down, and they had reopened a brand new one about 2 miles up the road. It was the same store. They had just upgraded to a bigger building. And I was at the bread rack, and I was squatted down, and I was at the stocking the grocery, or, you know, stocking the bread on the shelf like I normally would do. Well, on these racks, you could see all the way through to the other aisle. These were just wire racks, and you could see through. Well, I looked up, and I just coincidentally seen this guy, many years after the first instance, walk around the corner. And he began walking up the aisle on the opposite aisle from where I was at. And I noticed he had a flyer, one of the store's flyers in his hands, and he was holding it like this. And up under that flyer, he had what appeared to be two like DVDs or CD cases. And I thought, wow, it really looks like he's trying to conceal whatever it is he has there under that flyer. So having all the experience that I had with catching shoplifters, because I had been in that business for so long, I tailed in behind him just to see what he was going to do. Sure enough, he walks straight down the aisle and he goes into the bathroom of this grocery store. He never put these items down. So I walked up to the door and I opened the door just a little bit just to hear what was going on. And I could see his feet under the stall, and I could hear him ripping the plastic off of these DVDs. So I knew what he was doing. He was stealing something. He was concealing something else. So I went straight up to the front, since I knew I was good friends with the store manager. And I told him, I said, I told him about this guy, reminded him about him. And I said, this time I would like to stop him. If you will let me stop him, I would appreciate it. Now, I was not an employee of the store, so this could have got the manager in trouble. But he said, yes, if you know he's got it, you go ahead and stop him. So we stood up at the front and we just waited it out. And eventually he come moseying back up towards the front. And he walks right on past the registers and he walks out the door. So I tailed in behind him and I followed him all the way to his car. I didn't want him to know that I was behind him until I got to his car. We got to his car and I called him by his name, and he turned around and I said, hey, I just want to ask you something. He says, yeah, what? He was acting nervous. I said, did you just forget to pay for something? And he says, no, I don't think so. And he was acting really nervous, like I said. I said, I think that you and I need to walk back up here to the store for a minute and speak to the store manager for just a second. He's still nervously says, okay, well, let's go. So we start walking up there, and he stops about halfway by the time we get up to the door. And he says, you know what? I did find something in the bathroom. I said, what did you find? He said, I found a couple of DVDs. There was two boys in there that had ripped the plastic off of them, and I just picked them up, and I've got them. I said, well, where do you got them? And he pointed at his shirt. I said, let's go talk to the store manager. So by the time we get back up to the store manager is waiting at the door with the general merchandise manager. And I said, I told the store manager, I said, hey, my friend here, he's got something for you. This guy stood right there in front of me and on the cameras, and the store manager and the general merchandise manager. This guy who praised Jehovah's Witnesses and said that stores only want to hire them because they're so honest, pulled his shirt up and pulled out 2 DVDs. One of them was The Patriot with Mel Gibson, I remember it to this day, and the other one was titled The Abyss. He handed them to the store manager. The store manager gave him a tongue lashing, and he said, "You are banned for life from my store. Don't you ever come back." He said, "Your wife can come back because I recognize you and I know who your wife is, and your sweet wife can come back, but you do not ever step foot in my store again." I told this guy right then, I said, "I'm going to tell you something." I said, "I know for a fact I've caught you stealing from this man before." I said, "And you better be thankful that he is the one who is handling this, because I would not be so merciful." I said, "If it was up to me, knowing your history, you would be going out those doors in handcuffs." And I turned around and went about my business, and then he left. Again, I told my dad. My dad tells the elders, "Do you think that the elders came to the store and asked to see the videotapes? Do you think that the elders came to the store and asked to speak to the store manager or even the general merchandise manager or me? How many witnesses do you need? Isn't it 2 witnesses? Isn't it the testimony of 2? Well, you've got video cameras and 3 other individuals that could confirm that he did this, and they swept it under the rug again. Conveniently, we have to protect Jehovah's name. Folks, I'll see you in the next video.